Hi, my name is Juan Hofmeister. I'm from Costa Rica. I'm a specialist on international law and governance. Um, been working on issues of climate change and adaptation, and I will be the instructor for the Human Vulnerability and Climate Change course. And this course, we will be looking first at how humans, as agents of global change, have been changing their environment and in the ways in which these are likely to affect human security and how this is also related to climate change. The following session, we will be looking at some of the key concepts on human vulnerability and how these relate to vulnerability in places, vulnerability in communities, as well as some of the competing perspectives on vulnerability to climate change and the conceptual frameworks and how these have evolved around these concepts. After that, we will be looking more in detail at how climate change impacts national economies and how environmental stress is manifested in cities, ecosystems, and how this translates in resource scarcity for economies and for vulnerable communities. Following, we will be looking at some particular methods that are used on working with vulnerability, working with participatory approaches, community-based approaches, as well as public policies that are used for working with vulnerability using bottom-up approaches and top-down approaches. After that, we will be looking at the bigger picture on the global response to vulnerability. So what are some of the existing frameworks that have been agreed at the international level to work vulnerability, including some of the financing tools that exist to support particularly developing countries in their fight to reduce vulnerability and address some of the impacts caused by global environmental change. In this context, we will be exploring some of the politics of climate change, as well as the role that non-state actors play with this, and the general politics that exist in relationship to the concept of vulnerability at the international level. To conclude, we will be closing looking at the role that institutions at multiple levels, local, subnational, regional, and international level have to do with building resilience and reducing vulnerability, and some of the key concepts on adaptation governance and the governance of vulnerability at multiple levels. We will be working using an online forums and other tools, and this will be a good opportunity to exchange criteria and views on this key question of addressing human vulnerability to climate change.